I hope you can see me. I know I'm late. I know I'm late. And yesterday I missed it. It was my son's exam results. So we were all on tender hooks waiting for that. So good morning, everybody. I'm not doing the usual Dean thing today because obviously Ofgem's put out these energy prices. And my God, they're eye-watering. And an absolute it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. I'll just share my screen because I want to talk to you about this. It's not my normal topic, this. So if you're good morning, Alison. This is not my normal topic, right? But the media are absolutely loving this. There's some executive producers having an absolute field day with people looking at this stuff, right? And I want to talk to you about it because they are instilling fear. And I have a view, and I'll just go BBC as well. These are supposed to be responsible broadcasters, right? Responsible broadcasters. Look at what they're doing here with this, right? Now, this is true, right? This is true. Of course, yes. Today, 7 o'clock this morning, it went up by £3,000 to £3,500. Right? I know this is not normally me, but I have met so many frightened people, and rightly so, because if the bills do go up like this, it will plunge not just a million of people, not just people on benefits. It will put millions, like probably at least a third of the population will be in poverty if this happens. So you look at this and you go, okay, this is really bad. We need to cut back our expenditure. We need to save money because we're going to have these big bills. Perfectly prudent stuff. But everywhere you go, every news outlet is like telling you we're all doomed. And I want to kind of just game plan something with you here, because I don't think we need to worry. Now, I could be totally off and wrong here, and I know that this is not my topic. So if I am way out, I'm way out. But I just want to kind of, I'll stop sharing these things now because they're annoying me. I want to kind of just game plan something out for you. If you're absolutely terrified of this and you're wondering how you're going to cope, rightly so, you have to look at your budgets and figure out, what the hell am I going to do? I've been looking at how do I save energy at home, all that kind of stuff. But if it is as dire as what's going to happen, there's something else, and I have a confidence in something else that will solve this. So I have an inner confidence that something else is going to intervene and prevent all of this crap from happening. And I will tell you what it is. I have a gut instinct that if politicians, let's just, right, so we got 3.5, it's gone up to an average of 3.5 grand. Of course, if it's smaller than the average user, it's not going to go up, but it's still going to go up by 80%. If you're paying 50 quid now, it's going to go up a lot. If you're paying 200 quid now, it's going to go up a lot. If you're paying £80 a month, it's not going to go up to £300 a month. So let's just keep this in context. So if you're paying £100 a month now, it could nearly double. That's brutal, whoever you are, right? I have a confidence in something else. And this is going to be really, here's my confidence. I have confidence in political elected officials needing to save their own skin. That's why I'm not panicking about all of these energy rises, because It is electoral suicide for somebody to not sort this out. So I was talking to some of our team yesterday about this. It looks like Liz Truss, in about a week and a bit's time, a week and a half's time, Liz Truss is going to become the Prime Minister. That's what it looks like. Unless there's a big surprise, Liz Truss is going to become Prime Minister, right? The Conservative Party, I'm not getting political as in right or wrong here. It just, that's what it looks like. They need to save their own skin. Liz Truss becomes Prime Minister. She is 2 years away from a general election, and electricity prices are going to remain high for 2 years. They can't just let people sink into fuel poverty in this way. They just can't. I know some people might have the view that Tories are evil and don't care about poor people, but actually the price hikes that are happening are going to hit people, their electorate, right? I'm not going into the politics of it. I'm not saying right or wrong here, so please don't think this is political. I'm just telling you, politicians are not immune. They're not immune from elections. They don't always do what they think they should do near elections. So price hike goes up. Let's just think about the electoral landscape for the last few years. Typically, a lot of working class people have defected to voting Conservative because of Brexit. You know, that's just the reality. So we talk about the red wall and all of this kind of stuff. People have defected from Labour to Conservative because of Brexit. Typically working class people, the people who are going to be hit the most. If the Conservatives want to defy the odds and stay in office for another run, yeah, they've been in office, 12 years, including the coalition, 12 years. By 2020, beginning of 2025, January 2025, they have to run an election. So that's 2 and a bit years away. The public will not forget what they do right now. Yeah, they know it. They're not stupid, but they are playing, I think, theatre, because if you think about it, and hopefully you'll get this, right? Inflation is running crazy. Do you know what the biggest driver of inflation is? Do you know what the biggest driver of inflation is? Energy prices. So both candidates are saying we've got to tackle inflation and the fuel bills. Both candidates are saying they've got to sort this out. It's electoral suicide to not. Yeah, it's just suicide electorally. So they can't even say, suck it up, people, because they know they'll never get elected again. If they allow millions of households, not millions of people, millions of households to sink into this mess that's coming, they will be wiped out off the political map totally. I'm sure some eager Labour voters are saying, do it, but it will people will die if they let this happen, because people will not use their fuel. People will, I don't want to be, if people end up in this situation where their life is facing ruin because of energy bills, some people are gonna do very dark things, or very sad things. They can't let that happen. So here's what I think is going to happen in about a week and a half, 2 weeks' time. So I think Liz Truss is going to get elected. I'm not talking about marketing, growing a business at all today, because this whole media thing's just annoyed me, and I'm hoping that some people here who are worried about this will get where I'm coming from. I think Liz Truss is going to win this thing. I didn't get to vote, so I'm not invested in a candidate or anything. Liz Truss will win this thing. She'll do an emergency budget of some kind, and she will do some kind of deal where she's going to reduce the energy bills. And I think probably something like the deal that EDF and Scottish Power have proposed, where they'll suck up the increased costs. So they'll suck up, it might go up a little bit, 10%, 15%, something like that, but they'll suck up the rest. And basically, as energy costs come down, the bills will stay about the same level to kind of earn the money back. So I don't think they're going to go up as much as Ofgem is putting the cap up. And I think somehow we'll pay that increased energy cost on the Never Never. I don't think the government will borrow and give us money, because that will make things worse. But here's the thing. Inflation is a statistic, right? Inflation is a statistic based on what's going on in the world. So if you look at, and I think Keir Starmer had a plan about this, so, I'm not quoting exactly. If you halt the increases to energy, so you don't keep increasing energy, inflation flattens out, or at least comes down to the 5-6%. So if you don't increase people's electricity bills, inflation comes down fast. Now, they've still got fuel running high, but that's starting to settle down. And I'm not an economist, but inflation is just a statistic of, if prices go up, they calculate it and go, this is how much it's gone up by as a percentage. And an 80% rise in energy bills is driving inflation, and it will. And the energy rise we had in April has yanked up inflation. Outside of that, yes, inflation's still happening, but that's the biggest driver. So if you're brand new prime minister and you really want to prove your worth and give people a feel-good moment, here's what you do. You don't say anything till you're elected, because you want the numbers and all of that to be drastic, so that when you come in, you can fix it all and be the world's best prime minister. So here's what you do. You broker that deal with the energy companies where the bills don't go up. So inflation as a metric doesn't keep climbing. So this 18% figure goes away and it flattens out where it is right now. And because inflation is a metric that's measured against previous prices, it starts to flatten out or peter down to about the 5 or 6%. So if you sort out two of the biggest problems in people's mind, in the public's mind. Number one, I am not going to let your energy bills go up. The energy companies are going to pay for it. Yay. And we'll work it out in the Never Never. Yeah. And there is an actual plan by Scottish Power and EDF to do that, which was proposed to Rishi Sunak in April, and he rejected it. And it was proposed 2 weeks ago back to the Cabinet Office again. And they're seriously considering it. But of course, it's going to wait till the new prime minister. So I think that'll be implemented in some form. Maybe there'll be a marginal increase, 5 or 10%, something like that. They'll implement that, and then you watch in the next 3 months, inflation starts to fall. That's what I think is going to happen. I could be totally wrong, and I'll come on here and say I was an idiot and I was wrong. But I have faith in politicians trying to save their electoral skins. And if they don't do something about this, the Conservative Party will be no more, because nobody would vote for them after they let this happen. They just won't. If you let energy prices increase, inflation gets worse, consumer confidence falls, because the economy, the recession that is predicted, is based on how people are spending their money. If we stop spending, that we go into a recession. So that's what I think is going to happen. I'm not going to kind of witter on for ages about this, but if you just look at the landscape, you've got a general election 2 years away. You've got a new prime minister coming in who needs to make a razzmatazz and at least consolidate their voter base before that election. You've got energy bills that are going to cripple people if that goes ahead. And you've got inflation. Two biggest priorities they've got to solve are those. And they can solve them both together. One fell swoop, they can solve, not completely solve it, but they can at least make drastic changes. And the energy companies are up for sorting it out. So all the pieces of the puzzle are there to sort it out. The reason I think that they haven't done it yet is, number one, let the media run riot. It creates the perfect stage, the perfect optics, PR optics for a new prime minister to come in and deal with it all in one go and be the savior. So I think that's the reason why nothing's been done so far. number one. Number two, there is a logical argument to say that an existing government shouldn't bind another government to something. And they want to get elected again. They will not get elected again, probably for 10 or 15 years if they let this happen. People have, a 2-year, if people are crippled by big energy prices, energy increases, they will not forget that. I think it's the 19th of January, they have to run my birthday. They have to run the election again. By law, they have to do it on that date. But they'll probably go sooner because the longer you leave it, January is not a good time to do an election. So they're probably going to go June, July, May, June, July 2024. So you think about it, it's not quite 2 years. So they've got to make the best of this situation and get us all in good moods to convince us that they are a better option than the other side. They can't convince us they're the better option if they've just put us through misery and put millions of people in poverty and sunk, 30%, or I might be making that up, 20% of the population into debt with the energy companies. It's just not going to work. It's political suicide. And, I'm pretty confident that when it comes to it, politicians will save their own skin. And in this scenario, them saving their own skin is in our benefit. That's my 2 penneth anyway. So as you're seeing those news articles, remember the media needs something to talk about. And we as human beings love to listen to bad news. We absolutely love to listen to bad news. So the media is feeding our need for more bad news. If the media decided to tell us all the positive stories, we would probably not watch it. We would probably not buy the papers. We would probably not do it. So the media is invested in spreading the panic. That's just how I see it. I could be totally wrong. I'm not saying that there isn't a real issue. I'm not saying the media's pulled by some evil one world order or anything like that. I'm just saying it's a media organization. They make money by having eyeballs. That you don't get eyeballs by giving people good news. But I am surprised there's very little commentary around the news about the government can't let this happen. It's suicide politically. So I think in about 2 weeks' time, we'll already know. We'll know the answer. 2 weeks' time, we will know. But both people who are going to be either one of them have said they're going to do something. I think Rishi Sunak wants to give us some money towards our bills. I think what Liz Truss has said, and you always have to watch with politicians because they never actually say what they think. They're always on their guard. But she said no more handouts. So a handout is giving people money towards their electricity bill, which is what's happening right now. But if the energy companies suck up the cost and deal with it on the never, never, we still pay it. We still pay the increased cost, but over a longer period. So I think that's the smart move. I think that's what she'll do, because I think that she's going to win by all the polls. The polls would have to be massively wrong for Rishi Sunak to become the next PM. I think that's what she's going to do. I think she's going to say, I'm not going to give the public money. What I'm going to do is do this deal with the energy companies. We'll pay this, a marginal increase on the current rates, not the new rate that they've proposed today, a marginal increase there. But actually the difference will sit on the never, never. And it'll sit on the never, never for probably 20 years. And the energy companies will just have higher prices. Instead of having high prices for 2 years or whatever, and then it settle down, it's going to be higher prices for, say, 10 years or something. I don't know. But that's my 2 penneth. And, I think we'll find out in 2 weeks. We'll find out before the price rise goes up. And the government will have to do something before the price rise goes up, because if everybody's bills just go up like that, it's unthinkable. It really is unthinkable. Right, I'm going to shut up. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Thank you again for everybody following me. I'm sorry I'm not talking about my normal topic. It's just I've seen so many people frightened by these energy bills. I thought I'll have to tell you what I think, what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, because I think the landscape that we're in, any government trying to let this happen is toast, total toast. In fact, the government, yeah, Maxine, she said it, but then Rishi's kind of pulled back from it. I think the other thing is as well is if they let this happen, I think the government will probably collapse. I think the government will collapse because I know a few Conservative MPs, and they would never let this happen. For all, there's a lot of things about the Conservative Party I don't like. There are some Conservative MPs who will go, no, enough's enough. So anyway, I'm going to go. Have an awesome